Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Kansas City Bitcoin cryptocurrency podcast. I am your host, Tim Lawrence, but we are going to forgo in real life names because we're going to step one more time into the big metaverse. That's right. Decentralized applications are the biggest, newest thing that has come along in a long time in this space with NFTs and other things inside of crypto. But these games that are decentralized applications are huge. And what you tend to do is you create a persona. And in that persona that you become, again, you just kind of forgo that in real life name. So for myself, Uplando, nVen0m, and Ben68, welcome to another podcast and welcome guys to the show. I keep saying we always wait for new things that are exciting in the world of crypto and NFTs and DApps. But the game that we all know and love that we play, Upland, which is a buy, sell, trade real estate game, which again, this is also evolving into what this game is becoming. But these two players in the game have done and organized groups and made big moves that are staggering. And the one that we want to talk about is early AM. So it was about 12:30 Pacific, 12:27, I think to be exact, Pacific, 1:30 or 1:27 Central Standard, and Brisbane, since our UDU member, actual founder, I'm saying that right, we'll get to that, is in Australia. So it's amazing. So it was about 4:30 p.m. his time. One of the biggest mintings that has ever happened in the game, besides the Chrysler building, that tower that was minted by nVen0m, was a little area that's in Brooklyn, and that's New York City, and it was Dumbo. There was a couple of properties over there left to mint. Dumbo is a rare collection. We can kind of get into that, collections that are happening in the game, but it was a very large size property, and nVen0m minted it last night. Guys, welcome to the show, and congratulations, nVen0m, for that mint. It was incredible. Your foray into this has been nothing but a loud blasting band, a horn section that has been trumpeting the whole way through it. And I'm so glad to have you on the show once again. We are following the trail of blue, and somebody deemed you Papa Smurf, which I kind of like. I kind of like that, King of the Blue, and I like that. But I do want to say something about this for anybody who, before this comes on, having hesitancy or seeing what's going on in such a rapid fire state. The UDU and what that does and all of the nodes, and we're going to talk about what that means. This really is about bringing community together and having an inclusiveness. This is not about elitism. This is not about whales. This is about doing something for everyone in this game. There is a place, I'm not speaking for these guys, I'm gonna let them talk to you about it. There is a place for everyone in this game. There's a place for everyone in UDU. So I'm going to hand it over. nVen0m, give us what you got. Tell us what made you go in this hard, and what are your plans next? I can't even imagine what you got next.
All right. Well, I saw there had been a kind of a battle from like third, second, and first between Tolga, myself, and Dizzy Diskey, which he was number one. I would say Stress was number one, right, at the time before I got the Dumbo property. And it was kind of going back. I mean, just to put it in perspective, I mean, Dizzy has about $115,000 invested in this game, I think, and I have about 117,000. So I mean, that's how thin of a razor of a line that it is between him and I. But I think, and I know Dizzy. He's actually become a friend of mine over time. I mean, we kind of just happened to meet because we were fighting each other for that, but you know, we ended up being friends, and I know him and I appreciate his friendship. But I saw Tolga had minted the building that was underneath, right, which is like a little, I think it was $13,000 building. He had minted it, and that pushed him up, you know. And so I said, oh, you know, if he's the third and I was second at the time, and he started to come up here, I said, well, maybe he's trying to come for me. And if he's coming for me, I'm getting out of there. You know, I gotta go forward. So I called. I got with Ben, and I got with you actually, and I told you guys, like, look, I gotta make a play. I put the Rambo head coming up that we were going to war, and then I was flying on just again almost similar to what happened last time with the Chrysler building. I was flying on a plane to New York because I spend most of my time in San Francisco on the West Coast, and I was on my way to New York. And we got it. We got the Dumbo. I got actually the Dumbo collection. I got 3 buildings with nice UP2. The largest one being about 3,000 and just some change. I don't know if it's like 3,500 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did that. So that effectively put me in the number one spot.
I've been pushing him to Dumbo for more than a week or something. I've been kept slipping the name. Have a look at this. Have a look at this play. We should do this. You should do it.
And what I want to talk about, and just so that puts this in perspective, in Upland, there is a leaderboard and we follow it. There's currently a secondary website that's a little bit of a companion to Upland for users that can go on and look at their status in the game. And one of the things we all look at is the leaderboard, and that is through acquiring properties in the game of Upland. And as we have seen, there has been a lot of monuments that get released on auction. It's a backwards auction. We've had the New York Stock Exchange, we have Coit Tower, we had nVen0m with the Chrysler building that he had minted, the largest sum ever paid in Upland for a digital piece of property at 25 million UP2, which translates into 25,000 in fiat for USD. And that we'd seen Tolga do that, and that was a big move, and he moved up. So there's been this battle, and
The D before the ski.
has been at the #1 level for quite some time. We were trying to get it in our minds. It could be more than 8 months, but he has been there for quite a long period of time. He is only, Dizzy was only second in the number of properties, which is about 3,700 to TM, who has 7,000 plus properties. And now nVen0m has taken that second spot for total numbers of property, but definitely net worth in the game, put himself on top. That's what the guys are talking about here. Ben, I know we're going to get back to nVen0m. Talk a little bit about your friendship, what started with nVen0m, and how you guys have continued to parlay this into the UDU, the MTU, the BTU, and what it all means.
Yeah, I spent some time last night going right back through a DM history because I knew this was coming up, and it was funny. I actually felt a bit bad. Venom reached out to me in my time was the 27th of March, and he must have seen like what I had going on with Midtown Terrace United at the time, NTU. So he touched base then, and then I kind of ghosted him for a couple of days. I don't know why. I must have been busy with something else. But on the 29th of March, we got talking again, and I showed him a map of NTU at the time of our holdings, and he purchased some property and officially became an NTU member at the time. And one of the things he stated at the time was, "We're about to kill this game. Happy to be a part of this endeavor." So I thought, right, yeah, well, this guy certainly means business. And then the very next day, he sent me a screenshot of what he just minted in St. Mary's Park. And it was just like a sea of blue. And I thought, well, for real, this guy is not mucking around. A couple of days later, I said to him, not counting DJ Shorts and yourself, we're not the richest co-op, meaning MTU, but we're highly committed. And Venom replied, "Oh, don't worry about that. Sweat equity is just as, if not more important than capital." And he also stated, "I don't think they're ready for a spend. No one is taking it as serious. Should I have my team build a website?" So there was a little seed planted there as well.
Yeah.
To your credit, and I just want to say something for everybody that's listening out there. Amazing quotes. Ben, 68, player in the game, San Francisco, was really this movement from the Midtown Terrace United, an incredible kind of move in the game. I mean, you were one of the first to say, "Hey, I'm beta business, and this is my stance. This is what I'm going to do. If anybody would like to come along, DM me." And then that's where that sea of blue started to show up, and it was really impressive at how you had started to acquire and mint those properties and make something for yourself. And that carried over. I remember seeing Venom DMing me as well and saying, hold my beer, and I'm going to do this. And we did watch that go down. So continue on, Ben.
To be fair, there is several other big co-ops out there. I was sort of the main one that kind of pushed that public and kind of, as you were mentioning before, kind of trying to make it a bit more inclusive, getting new members on board. Basically, the whole thing is, didn't want it to become an us versus them sort of thing. I sent nVen0m a message on the 2nd of April, so that was a couple of days later, and saying SF is selling out quick, because he had mentioned at the time that he had a friend that was thinking about coming in, and I was like, mate, if you're going to make a move, it has to be now, because it's not going to last long. So I reckon that probably might have flicked a little switch in his head as well. The very next day, the Balboa Terrace United was born. Venom, he sent me a screenshot of what he'd done in Balboa Terrace. And yeah, that was when I was like, for real, this guy is not playing. And then at that stage, we were talking backwards and forwards, and I suggested that we needed an overreaching umbrella brand to bring the two mini co-ops together. And I suggested Upland United, but it needed an additional word. And then pretty much straight away, I came up with Upland Development United. Venom thought it was cool. And in part of that same conversation, he stated that the app development for the new website was starting the very next day. So that's like 2 or 3 days after he just said, oh, should I make a website? And next minute, he's got his full team on board going full steam ahead. And then in that same conversation, I suggested that himself and DJ and I hook up with our core members and set up some regular meetings. And that kind of really got the ball rolling with the whole concept of opening up the community and getting people involved. In Venom, he told me that he just bought the Upsquared land domain.
Yeah, that to your point, DJ Shorts, incredible guy, and really making it kind of gel together in what they were doing, and the excitement was there.
To be honest on that, just so you know, I tried to call him a couple of times, try to get a hold of him. I don't know if he's busy or not. I wanted to let him know because I wanted him here too, but I know he's here in spirit, and next time we do it, I'd like to have DJ on too, because DJ's been, it's another guy. If you think about guys that I couldn't have done it without, DJ is definitely one of them. That's big shout out to DJ.
Yeah, amazing. So you guys have had this organization, you got together a very quick period of time. We know that nVen0m has the up2.land that is a companion app for Upland. It really encompasses everything that every player has ever wanted from day one. Things that features that have been asked for management of these properties, communication in game, trying to consolidate or trade more efficiently and effectively with players. And I have seen that that the app is in alpha, and it looks like it's really kind of coming along. So we're going to want an update from you as to where that's going. So as you start moving together in this, and as the UDU starts making a presence, I don't think that anyone would have any trouble with me saying that a lot of this movement really has put a little bit of a little push behind Upland to open up new cities. And I think we're seeing that more players are very interested in this. There is something called Fair Start Act. It's FSA players that have less than 100,000 UPX in holdings can purchase these Fair Start Acts, and they're all over the map, evenly dispersed, 50-50 FSA and non-FSA. So the number of players that are actively playing this, and as fast, we just saw Oakland opened less than 24 hours ago, I think it is, and it has really gotten eaten up. So nVen0m, tell us a little bit more about where you are with UP2 land and what's plans going forward.
Yeah, so I mean, if anybody watched the last interview with me and you, or you and I, I'm sorry, they would know I'm not the type of person that's just going to be sitting around waiting for stuff to happen. I'm proactive, I'm goal oriented, I'm driven. I do what I say what I do. These are all things that I learned in business in real life, and I'm just taking them over to Upland. I will never tell anybody ever in Upland or on Discord or wherever that I'm going to do something and then not have it done. That's just not the way I do it. Ben can attest to that. I don't talk about stuff I don't have. I'm there and I'm making. So usually, if you hear me say, "Hey, I'm going to do this," you should know it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Can I just make a point on that? Just as a rundown. Again, this is my time reference for the day. But on the 1st of April, Venom said, "Should I build a website?" 2 days later, he said he bought the Upsquared land domain, and then 2 days later, on the 5th of April, he sent me screenshots of the website in process, and it just blew me away. So within 4 days, he's gone from I've got this idea to having concrete, having something tangible to hold on to and play with. Just the speed with which this guy works and what he's capable of bringing to the table is it's unmatched.
And may I
Yeah.
say that and again, I want to keep reiterating this because I do think that this is how nVen0m, Ben68, I think this is the approach they're having. This is not about a flex. This is not about someone who's gobbling up everything for themselves. The up2.land is a companion app, is a tool for all players, no matter what level that you are at. It's about passion and it's about wanting to somewhat level that playing field, no matter where you are in the game. And that's what I want to stress and make the important part about is I, as anyone would kind of look at this and go, oh, it's, somebody that's throwing money or flexing around. It really doesn't feel like that. And I really hope that from going forward that everybody recognizes that, yes, there are big purchases being made in the game, but in equal size of what that is, what nVen0m is doing to give back on what this is going to become is peeling away and starting to take the bricks off of people's shoulders for the frustrations that they have and allowing them to really immerse themselves into this game and take it to a new level. So my hat's off to you. nVen0m, if you want to speak to that.
Up Squared Land is coming. We did a big push in the beginning to get the alpha running. And then there was kind of like a gap where my developers had never played Upland, right? They've never, so it's like I'm telling them how to do this and they're putting together all of these things based on what I say, but then they've never played the game. So what I did was I started to bring key members of the community in as alpha testers and discussing, what we should do. How do you solve that kind of problem? And that kind of put a little bit of a delay on putting out new stuff because we're still building on are still working on building the framework. But I think that by next week, the UDU meeting next week, I should be able to show some actual screen shares of the actual alpha site itself for a little bit. So I'm gonna tease that here, that at our UDU meeting, I'll be able to screen share some of the up2.land site with you guys to see it working and whatnot. Now, there's been some big deals happening in the background, of which I'm sure you'll hear about soon. That are, like I said, everything we do is to change the game. Like, I don't think people understand about me. It's like when I wake up, like I've been blessed and fortunate in my life not to have to, I've worked to a point where I don't have to be a slave to a 9 to 5 anymore. I can kind of do what I want, and Upland is what I want to do, right? So that's what I'm doing, and I wake up in the morning, probably 2-3 o'clock in the morning, 2 or 3 a.m. That's because I need to be able to get with Ben while he's still awake to be able to, make sure we get the stuff for the day. Then I start working, and I'm working nonstop, and I have other stuff going on with NFTs and some other things that I'm working on. So I'm working on all that stuff in UDU business. And then the evening time when Ben gets back on is the time where we can kind of link again, because he's in Australian time zone. I'm in Pacific, so it's kind of a weird thing. Is I'm awake, and me and DJ are awake when he's asleep, and when he's asleep, we're awake. So my DJ and myself, we keep things running at the UDU, and but it's a nonstop work stream, right? And at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know, I go to bed at like sometimes 10, 11, 12 a.m. sometimes, and so I'm getting 2, 3, 4 hours of sleep. And there's been a couple of times where I just been talking to Ben, and then all of a sudden my conversation just drops off, and he knows it's probably because I just literally passed out while I'm on the keyboard, because I'm so driven and focused, and I'm so motivated by this community and this game and the possibilities. It's almost like being an Upland player, you don't even have to play the game to be motivated by the game. Meaning, like, a lot of this game that we're doing is not played inside of Upland. That's where we go and we make the transaction. It's like, okay, Ben, we talked about this deal for 3 hours, or in the case of Dumbo, 4, 5, 6 days, where Ben keeps on saying, hey, you should buy the Dumbo property. Hey, and then how long did it take me to make that transaction? It was like, hey, I'm going to fly over here. It's like, I wasn't spending much time in game.
That's kind of helped. I think it's worked out well that we're in opposite time zones, because that's kind of helped fuel this ball that's rolling. There's always one of us, whether it's you, myself, DJ, we can just keep it rolling and rolling and rolling.
Yeah, so UDU is a 24/7. Yeah, UDU is a 24/7 machine, and it's rocking 24/7. And each one of us that's all of the UDU members, not just Ben or myself or DJ. It's every UDU member, and you should see some of the players like in the UDU chat, that these guys, I mean, they are dedicated on so many levels, and it just blows me away. I've had people approach me, UDU members approach me, and literally offer their services free just because they know what we're up against, and they want to, you know, they just, it's not, it's like, hey guys, I can do this, and if you need it, and the stuff that they're producing is like next level. The UDU theme song, I mean, I don't know if you guys have heard it. If you can go hear it, that is the coolest thing. I mean, when I heard, I laughed. I was so happy. I was happy the whole entire day, I think. And it was weird because I had it on my phone playing, right? And then I went into my car, and my car's got my Bluetooth. So all of a sudden I'm driving, and then I hear the song come. I was like, yeah, you know, I'm driving down the street. So
the nasty hooks, right? The
nasty hooks. Yeah.
Bird and Travis over there, they've got their show. They're on Discord. It's every Wednesday, I believe, evening that they have a show that goes. If you haven't seen those guys, please go visit them on Discord. That show on Wednesday. But you had them do the theme song, and to you know what you said. So many UDU members are coming and saying, I want to help, I want to be part of this. And I'll tell you, the support, just helping out new players, getting in that general chat, getting in that new player chat, having that UDU symbol beside them and saying, how can we help you? Welcome to Upland. You're having a problem, let me try and help you from the past. That's awesome. That's what I want to see. That's what I like about UDU.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about the positive energy that we've put forward into the metaverse, it's almost emotional for me. Honestly, it seems like, you know, you might think, oh, it's a play, or oh, it's a flex, or oh, these guys are just throwing money. I mean, but we have done something, and I know for a fact, based on messages that I've had from players from the lowest bottom, you know, entry level player to the highest, that UDU has made impacts in several people's lives. Even if it comes to, like, I see a guy struggling. There was one time where I saw a guy struggling. I'm going to let him remain nameless, but I saw a guy struggling, and he had made a mistake in the game where he bought a property that was outside of the property line, and I literally just gave him one of mine because I have, you know, I was meant to. It makes no difference to me, right? But to him, it made a whole world of difference, and I understand that. You know, I understand that's it's important for me to give back that way. So one thing that I'm going to do, and I'm going to start doing it very, very soon, and I'm going to start working with Ben and DJ on an actual, and you, Upland, actually, I'm on an actual charity thing where it's a real charity thing. Like I want to give something from the metaverse to the real world, right? And so that's my, I mean, I haven't talked with any of you guys even about this. It's something I've been thinking of, but I think that if we can collectively gather something from the metaverse, make it real, and put it out, whether it be financial or whatever it is. I don't know what it is yet, but I want to help, and I want to do it from Upland. And I think that would be an interesting concept, right? We created something in the virtual. And not only that, but it would be a message to all the naysayers that say, hey, what are you guys doing in this virtual world, spending all this money on properties, you know, that don't exist? Well, let me show you what we're doing, right? Let me show you what we can do, right? And I'm going to put it, you know, I'll put a link to it everywhere. I'm sure everybody will be aware of what it is when we come out with it. But I would ask that everybody understand that seeing this interview right now, that's the goal. And we want to push this and put it out and help some real life people that are struggling or having trouble. I mean, I don't know if it's from the COVID-19 stuff or from just people struggling in general, but you know, I really have a need and a want to give back to the community, and since I have the means to, I hope that others in the community that do have the means to will join me in that to help people in real life.
That's amazing. I commend you for that. I know that a lot of the players in the games, you know, it's rebuild the world. That is what Upland's slogan is. And part of that is being able to mint something in Upland that has a counterpart in real life. I keep going back because it's the skip of the record, but Mars Utah owns CBGBs, and I had asked him, I'd reached out to him and said, oh man, I really hope that you keep that as CBGBs. And you know, it's not what it is now, but it's that way in the game. And he's like, yes, that's what I'm going to do. I have went in on some parks that aren't in collections. They have no other significance other than that's what they are. I want to keep them as parks. Schools are the same way for me. I want to keep those things in there and represent those in the Upland. So I love the fact that you're wanting to do a charitable a portion of this and move that forward. I'm all on board for that. Anything else that you wanted to talk about? I know up up2.land. If you're having frustration as a player just in the game, you can go there, up2.land, and you can give a suggestion of a feature or something that you would like to see from that dashboard, from that app, and you will be entered for a giveaway. Is it an inaugural property is what you're giving away in nVen0m?
It is, yeah. And that's through the process has grown to be about $1,000 worth giveaway. So it's promised though, and it is going to happen. So we'll do it live. You know, we'll find a way to maybe we'll do it on your show up, Plano. I don't know. Call the winner of that. But yeah, we'll do it live, and it's going to be done. I mean, I'm going to pick. I think I'll probably pick about 15 or 20 of my favorite, really in-depth, suggestions, and then I might put everybody's name in a hat or a ball, whatever it is, and then we'll pull out the winner from there.
I love that. I love that. There's so much rich content that are coming out from players that have been inspired by what's going on in Upland. And we're starting to see these content creators fill holes and niches where there hasn't been before. Left House has his Upland Action News that he does and really tries to cover what's going on a daily basis. And others are starting to partake into that. Ben, what do you have coming up and going forward for us that you can tell us, and anything else that you want to fill us in on?
Most of the stuff that I'm doing at the moment is a lot of background reflection. UDU has burst onto the scenes, and we've kind of shot out in all directions, but I think it's important to just take a big step back for a moment, have conversations internally, take feedback from the outside community. And I know you, Uplander, you asked me some questions this morning that were related to me putting together a bit more of a fleshed out documentation about who we are, what we're about, that sort of thing. Because we are still at the foundationary stage. It's important to get those right. Even with our logos, we've had discussions with a whole bunch of our members today about tweaking those a little bit. There's a lot to reflect on, a lot to refine and put together. So most of the stuff I'll be doing probably for the next 2-3 weeks, we'll be working on that. Like, I wasn't really involved in the Oakland land rush at all, apart from some stuff that was directly related to UDU, and I haven't been really engaged in the wider community that much. It's just been a lot of internal conversations and reflection and taking notes and thinking through things and that sort of stuff.
I think that one of the things that you guys have done that really puts it out there for everyone that are still maybe thinking, I'm not so sure about this. The UDU has their meetings online, and DJ Shorts, I think he's the one who really kind of takes the speaker part of that and runs with it. And anybody can come into that wants to join in. Is that correct? And they can ask questions. And if they want to be part of the UDU, is that how it works?
Not at this stage. For the actual meetings, yes. to be within the actual live meeting, we're kind of holding that to UDU membership at this point forward. But of course, we've had comments come up on the YouTube channel, and a lot of people have reached out through Discord after seeing the video, and that inspires ongoing conversations in that regard. But for the present, the UDU meetings are kind of locked down for UDU members.
But anybody can view those on YouTube, right? You do post those live on the show. And I think that's the transparency part of what you do. And you guys go through that and tell people what you're doing. It's sort of a big secret. And again, it feels very inclusive. It's for guys and gals, anybody that wants to be a part of it. And if you have an idea, if you have something that you would, again, a suggestion, up2.land, give that suggestion there, get yourself entered to win an inaugural property. And I just think it's great. I love the charitable part of it. I like what you guys are doing. This is not a divide and conquer. It's an inclusive and play is what it is. It's really wanting to engage that community, because Upland as a decentralized application has an amazing community. There is always someone that's willing to help and really go that extra mile. T. Davis is a sparkling example of that. There's a player in there, and I'm going to say it wrong. It's Cafe Madrigal, and they're literally creating a tome of how-tos, Q&As that players ask, and they help them and they direct them. it's inspiring, guys. It really is. And again, I want to commend you for what you're doing and playing the game this way. Is there anything from either one of you? I'll start with you and nVen0m that you want to close with.
Yeah. So I just want to say that, you know, it was kind of bittersweet, obviously taking the #1 spot, you know, from Dizzy. He's been there for some time. I know he's well respected. I hope that I can fill his shoes and even somewhere close to where he was on you know, holding the #1 spot down. But for myself, that it means a lot more now that I was able to take the reins from somebody that's so well respected like Dizzy. He's an awesome dude. And I can only hope, like I said, to further that. So all that being said, I don't think I'm going to be moving from this spot anytime soon. I mean, that's an open challenge for anybody. If somebody does come and get me, it's even better for the game. So I'll happily take second, third, fourth, 100th, 1,000,000th, if that means that more people are putting more investment into Upland. You know, for me, that's I want to drive the, you know, let's have competition, let's have some energy, let's have fun, let's get out there. I mean, that's what we're doing, right? And it's not to say that people that don't have the financial means to make it to #1 that can't contribute. You know, I think that like you kind of, everybody alluded to this, sweat equity, and even Ben was, you know, the conversation we had, sweat equity is just as important as capital in Upland. So if you're willing to put in the work, you might not have the cash, or if you have the cash but you can't put in much of the work. I mean, those things go walk hand in hand. And I really think that the guys that are out there working hard every day, I want to give a shout out to Podex. He's been doing a lot of work for the UDU. He's been working on getting some NDNs established, and he's a young kid. I didn't realize, you know, we started talking. I think he's 20-something years old, and he's working hard, and he's putting every ounce of what he has into building this stuff. I mean, sometimes I'm talking to this kid, and he's about to go to sleep, and it's like he'll tell me, "All right, nVen0m, I'm gonna go to sleep. I got something," you know what I mean? And then like I'll see him 3 hours later, and he's never stopped. You know, he's still going. I said, "Hey man, I thought you were going to sleep." He said, "Oh, you know, I got this and I got that." That's the kind of motivation and the energy and the sweat equity that's going to get you places. So it doesn't matter, honestly, if Podex had $100 in a game or $10,000 in the game. If he's putting that kind of sweat equity, he's going to advance his position exponentially, right? Because once we realize that Upland is not just who's #1 or who's #2, it's fun, right? But it's more of, where's your position in this hierarchy of people that are working? I mean, are you being honest? Are you being fair? Are you being courteous to other people?
To branch right out from that, the UDU is inclusive, but we are exclusive. I'll explain that a bit further. We're inclusive that we will take anybody on board if you have that passion and you have that drive. But like I've just said, with our Zoomed team meetings, that's kind of like an exclusive perk of being in the team. We did have, and I can apologize again, we did recently go through our member list in our server, and we did take some people out who were in the kind of committed hodler category. So they were kind of loosely in the UDU, but they weren't involved in the UDU. So if that makes sense. So as nVen0m's mentioned, with somebody like Podex, he's come in with, say, very little resources, but what he's willing to do and the commitment he's able to bring to the table, that's what we're looking for. Just having a big bank account and lots of properties in different neighborhoods or whatever, that's not what we're about. So there is an exclusivity to the UDU, but yeah, it's more of the building that core team, you know, and just getting together and, you know, working together, creating together. I mean, we realized, like, if something came up and I said, "Sorry guys, I'm out for the next month," that's fair enough. But you know, there were several people in there who'd been in the server for 2 weeks and hadn't even posted once, sort of thing, you know?
Yeah, I understand that. I like all that rewarding, some of the sweat equity that goes on, because it does mean a lot. And to both of you, putting that emphasis on being an honorable player, playing the game, and really making players making their day. I said it before, that one thing that you do for a player that gives them that positive reinforcement, that by just doing that one simple thing to make a player's day, it really makes a difference, and it really shows in the community. So again, I appreciate that, and I'm really glad and fortunate to be a part of it. And guys, I really can't say enough. And I know every time we turn around, there's something new and big that's happening, and that something happens and it's the next thing. So we'll try and keep up with it as best we can. I want everybody to get over to up2.land and submit what it is that you would like to see as a feature, something that you've struggled with in the past that you would like to see, get entered for that inaugural property. They'll fill you in on what's going on. If you want to be a part of the UDU, Ben, tell us how they would reach out to you. Maybe they're not in Discord, or maybe they're seeing this for the first time. What do they need to do?
If you're not in Discord, you can just reply on the YouTube channel, and I'm sure you'd pass them or send them in the right direction. If you're on Discord, you'll see there's plenty of UDU branded members around. Just reach out to anybody, and they'll send you in the right direction.
That being said, X1, the gamer, they're well aware of UDU. So the guys at Upland, the Upland team, they know about us. And he asked me during one of the recent podcasts, he said, "Hey man, how many members? I mean, I see UDU tags everywhere in Discord. How many members?" I said, about 50 of us right now. And he was shocked. He was just floored, because I think the last time we had reported any numbers, it was like a couple of days before, and we had grown 10 members in like a day or two, from the time that we had talked about. I think it was 40 to 50. So that being said, I mean, and you have to think about it. You make growing members actually, you guys 10 people that have made commitments to the UDU that have, there's a lot of stuff that goes on with onboarding somebody. So that's a fairly decent amount of people to get done in a couple of days. And so anyways, like I said, the UDU is here to stay. We're number one. We're really happy about that. And just like I'm number one in the game, I don't think UDU is planning on going anywhere anytime soon. We're going to stay this spot as long as we can.
Well, I congratulate you and nVen0m for having that number one spot. And I know, again, it's not a flex, it's just moving the game forward. And I really hope to see some great things. I am part of the UDU and am doing so, again, in that there's so many good things that are happening. I love that. And I really didn't know about the charitable part of that. For everybody that's watching, that's new. And I love that part. And for both of you, growing and making this thing, carrying it along and following that blue line and making changes in the game, making things happen, I really appreciate it. Thanks for both being here. And for everybody at Kansas City Bitcoin Cryptocurrency, all of you that are in NFTs, and for decentralized applications, specifically Upland, but others that are out there in the metaverse, take a page from this book, because I really feel like this is going to be the blueprint of how conducting yourselves in these communities and these games can be done. It can be done right. It can be done with a lot of exuberance, and it can be done with inclusiveness and rewarding those players that do something like that and really put themselves to the term ladies and gentlemen. So guys, thanks so much. I appreciate you being here.
Keep an eye on Rockefeller Center.
You ain't seen nothing yet. We're just getting
wow.
It
just never ends. Are you kidding me? Okay, we're gonna have to sit there and watch babysit now. Thanks, nVen0m. We can't sleep now. Guys, thank you so much.